Hey guys, Matt with CJ Off-Road here. Today, as you can see on the table, we have got a wide variety of Diode Dynamic's brand new Stage Series 3 lights on the table. Now, I was really excited to get our hands on them, and our friends over at Diode sent us pretty much all that they offer. These lights are absolutely incredible, and from what I'm told, they've been working for years on designing these. They feature an 8-year warranty from Diode Dynamics, as well as the customization to be able to mount them as a spotlight or something on your pillar, also to add them as a fog light to your existing bumper. Now, we're going to be installing these on a couple Jeep Wranglers as well as Jeep Gladiators to really show their effectiveness and go over the different models. Now, Diode Dynamics offers these in either a sport model or the pro model. When you go from the two, you pretty much double the lumen output as well as the power draw on your system. Now, we go everything from a spot, a flood, a driving, and then these are going to be sort of the fog light style here, where they do have the rounded bezel and it's going to match perfectly. I really like that you can purchase these as a fog light kit, which gives you all the connectors made up to plug right into your vehicle's factory fog light system. Now, with that being said, we're going to dive into one of these individually, show you how to get them installed on our Jeep, so let's get started. So this specific pair of lights from Diode Dynamic is going to be their white driving style lights. And one thing I really like about all of these fog lights is that they are SAE approved, meaning that you can legally run them in all 50 states. Now, this light features 54,700 candela with approximately 547 lux at 10 meters. I also like that it'll shoot up to 470 meters and give you over 3,040 lumens of output with both of these lights. Now, on the back, you do have this pin fin heatsink as well as the Deutsch connector here. These things are extremely sturdy as well as constructed out of aluminum and then powder coated in black. Now, both of these are going to give us a great output as well as keep us street legal. First thing we're going to do is pull the front bumper off, so let's get started. So now we're in front of our 2018 JL, and if you guys have been following along with this build, you know that we never had a stock bumper on here. So what we did today is actually rob this one off of the Gladiator parts that we've been taking off, and it has the factory LEDs, so we just bolted it up there quickly to make sure you guys can get a realization of what this looks like with a factory style bumper. One thing I will mention is that Diode's brackets for the fog lights will work with aftermarket bumpers that do have a hole in them and accept a factory style fog light. Definitely check the description on our website to make sure they will fit, and also make sure to look for that hole cut out for the fog light. The only thing we need to do to remove this bumper is grab ourselves an 18mm socket and a small extension, that way we can get the lower bolts. The top filler piece we do already have removed, and honestly, we pulled that off a long time ago and I haven't been able to find it. To get that off, you only need to use a trim removal tool. We'll show you a short clip now on how to do that. Just go ahead and pull the center section off first, and then go underneath, and you'll just pull up, and they'll pull out just like that. After you have those lower two pulled off, there's going to be 5 along the front of the bumper we need to pull off. Going to do the exact same thing. Just use your flathead, get underneath the centerpiece, pop that out. Then we can pull the cover right up and out of the way. We're going to use an 18mm socket, as I said before. We're going to use the extension for the outside of the frame rail and then no extension for the inside. One thing I will remind you of is to remove the factory connection on the passenger side for the fog lights, and then the whole thing will move out as one piece. We're just going to go ahead and do it quick, pull this off over onto the table, and we're only doing this so we can show you guys how to remove the fog lights. You can actually access this just by removing a couple of the panels on the back that we'll show you in a little bit, but to give you guys a better representation of how to do it, we're going to pull the whole thing off. Once you have all the nuts removed from the front bumper, we're going to go ahead and disconnect the factory fog light connection. It helps to squeeze the connectors together and then depress on it a little bit, and it'll pop right out. And we can set these nuts aside and pull the bumper off. You have a table up here, and like I said before, you don't need to do all this. Once you see what I do next, you can be able to do it while it's still on the ground and while the bumper is still in your vehicle. So let's pull it off and set it on the table. So So as you can see on both sides, you're gonna have one of these filler panels, and you can do this while it's on the ground, but it is easier to see where everything is up here on the table. Go ahead and grab yourself a flathead screwdriver, and we can go around the border and remove all of these push pins by pulling the center section out. Or if you do have one of these handy removal tools, you pull the center about halfway out, and then you can pull the entire thing out. So we're gonna go ahead and do that with the rest of them here. Definitely save these for later. You will be reusing them. Then you have one larger one underneath here, holding onto your skid plate, or your air dam as they call it. So what you're gonna do, like you just saw guys, is just slide it out towards you. It does have to pop around this air dam here, but if you just slide it out towards the edge of the vehicle, we now have access to our factory fog light. Once you have your factory fog light exposed, we're gonna first disconnect this electrical plug up top by pushing in on the brown side, and it'll pop right out. You can push that to the side. Now the rest of these are gonna be 7mm bolts. We've got a 7mm socket, and we're gonna go ahead and remove them. As you can see, they aren't really on there crazy tight from the factory, so it'll only take a little bit to get them free. After about 2 turns, you can pretty much do these by hand. Definitely save these screws. You will be reinstalling them with the brand new Diode Dynamics lights. And once you have all the screws removed, you can pull your factory LED or halogen fog light out of its socket. So go ahead and grab your Diode Dynamics light, and we're gonna first flip it around and then install our nylon lock nuts into the back. Those will slot in and allow us to not use a wrench or anything. We only need to use a ratchet to tighten up the outside. So go ahead and drop the other side in. And then once we have that done, this is gonna be the lower section, so this is the bottom of the light. What you're gonna do is slide this adapter bracket on just like this. Grab yourself a 5/32 bolt here, and we're just gonna tighten that right into the nut we just installed. Get that side on, put it on the other side here. So with both of those on, we'll grab our wrench here, get it tightened up. So we're gonna take the light, flip it around, set it right into place like so. Grab all 4 of our 7mm screws and get them started. With all 4 of them started, we're gonna make it go a little quicker using a small 1/4-inch gun. Don't go crazy on these due to the fact that it is plastic you're screwing into. Now with that installed, we're gonna go ahead and grab our adapter harness. What that's gonna do is allow us to get power from the factory fog light connection to the Deutsch plug. Go ahead and clip that in here. Make sure it's all the way on that clip. And then we can plug this in and hear a little click, just like so. What we've gotta do is tuck that up, reinstall our back plate, repeat the exact same process on the other side, then we can throw it on the Jeep. So right here is gonna be a comparison of the Diode Dynamics driving sport lights compared to the factory LEDs. As you can see with the driving lights, just as I mentioned before in the specifications, they do have a further reach with a less wide pattern. So these are gonna be down the road further and give you a more concise area. Now we are about 10 feet away from the wall here, but you can see the difference between these and the factory. What I like about these is that you'll be able to look farther down the road and with a lot more light than those factory ones. Well, that's gonna be a wrap on this installation of these Diode Dynamics SS3 driving sport lights on the front end of our JL Wrangler. Overall, I'm really impressed by the quality of these diode lights, and like I said before, the installation is very simple. Once you pull the front bumper off, or just pull that panel off if you want to leave it on, you can get these installed and plugged in right away. We do have the Jeep that has halogen lights, and we have no issues with flickering, so you don't need any sort of tuner to plug these in and they're gonna work great. Now the driving pattern is going to be for those that want to shoot down the road a little bit further than a factory fog light, and these are perfectly SAE legal, which is a great thing in my head because you can run these on the street and not worry about any law enforcement. Now if you want to check out all these Diode Dynamics lights that we talked about today, as well as the ones that we have installed here, be sure to visit us at cjponyparts.com. And for all your Jeep and truck installations, hit that subscribe button and turn that bell on to make sure you don't miss any of our exciting videos. Hope you enjoyed that video. To stay up to date on our CJ Off-Road videos, make sure to subscribe up top here, and for any other installs, make sure to click the link right above.